Hello, today I'm going to teach you how to repair the timing on a Brother LX3817A. This is my friend's machine, and she agreed to let me give it a chance because it was either garbage or I could fix it. So what I have here is a Brother LX3817A, and it has a few handy stitches and it does quite a bit. So first I'm going to teach you how to take it apart, and then I'm going to teach you how to get the timing fixed on the needle and bobbin so that it can catch and sew. Because what was happening with hers is it wasn't doing any of these stitches. It was just not even, the bobbin wasn't catching. So now that it's repaired, it can do all the stitches that it says it can. And the first thing you'll do is remove certain screws. You'll remove this one. That's not a screw. This one and this one. This is an adjustment screw and it should not have a hole there. It is confusing, and I learned the hard way not to turn that. Do not turn that. This can be left on. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine just to stay there. With those screws removed, then this comes loose, and you can see here there's a little pin that kind of pulls this way, and that's where the screw was. It goes all the way through. All right, so now you can see the thread take-up lever, the tension dial. I've got my needle down, but our needle for our assembly. So now we need to figure out how to get this front plate off, and it starts with taking off this dial. I'm going to put this down in a second here because I don't think I can do it with one. Oh, there we go. This also is not a screw for loosening things. It is for changing the settings of your buttonhole. All right, there are some screws on the bottom. In order to remove the case, you have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to take out that one. Now, this part will just kind of pop apart, but if you need a little, like one of those plastic pry things like they use for cell phones, you could use one of those. I'm just gonna do it with both hands. Be right back. All right, so the secret to popping this apart is to press down right here and then kind of pull it out right here, because these two kind of snap together, and they're lightly snapped together, but it feels like you're going to just break everything if you just pull hard. So everything else is kind of loose except for these two spots. So once you get everything else where you can kind of get your fingers in there, then go here and then pull and it'll come out. All right. The next step is to remove 3 screws from this part so that the back will come off. One of them's here, and I've already removed the one that's right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's way back under here, but it's right underneath this bar, that hole right there. And the other one is behind here, so I have to take this off. And it's back there. See that one back there? So I've already taken that one out. So then this back part, it catches on this, so you have to kind of pull it away from this angle. That wants to tip from this angle towards there so that it comes out there last. Now you have all of it taken apart. It's much easier to get to things. You can do this without taking off the back, but it's so much easier to access this with the back off. So you make that choice for yourself. Next, we're going to take off this part and just remove the presser foot and this plate. So far, the only tools I've needed are a Phillips head, but this next part, it helps to have this. And it's kind of like a nickel or a quarter. So if you have a nickel or a quarter, this can work too. And then it's just a kind of forward and back to get that out. Well, we've got our feed dogs, our needle, and our bobbin. And what I've learned is that, okay, watch carefully right here. As the needle goes down, the feed dog's lower. And then as the needle comes up, the feed dogs go up. If the timing on that is messed up, then your fabric won't feed properly. So we want to check on that. And we're also going to take out our bobbin and our bobbin case. Like that. Now you want to inspect this to make sure that it has a little spring to it. Boink, boink, boink. I had to kind of pull this one out a little bit because it was kind of smashed. And it also needed to be kind of pushed in right here to kind of click. It seemed to be kind of loose. That probably comes from getting like a tangle of threads and then trying to yank on them, because things get really bound up in there and there's so much force. All right, take your knob, put it back on here so that you can see what stitch you've selected. This part goes spot right there. All right. You're going to start on stitch 4, which is the zigzag wide stitch. I have already made this one timed right, so you'll see it gets to the bottom of the, it has the lowering motion and starts moving up right about here. Clears before it hits that, because sometimes it'll strike this if it's not timed just right. So how do I adjust that? Well, first, there's this little problem that if I loosen this, then I can get the needle, the feed dogs, and this, all three, out of synchrony if I don't just do a little teeny tweak. So, first thing is to make sure it's on the left swing, not the right swing of the thing, the pattern. That's what I'm trying to say. And then put the needle in the almost down position, like right about here. Then, not this tool is the wrong tool. Let me zoom out. The tool you'll need is, oh look, it's magnetic. Okay, it's 2.5 millimeter hex. So it's kind of hard to see, but 2.5 millimeter hex. And I have it on this handy dandy little extension thing because it reaches in skinny spots. So that we have over here, not one, but 2 screws. And the one that is in this position is when the needle is up. So you want to loosen that one first, because then it won't mess up your timing of your needle and feed dogs. So loosen that and then turn it towards you until the next one shows up that's not loose. Okay, but look, when that one's not, and when it's in the right position, it's also where this is ready to be adjusted like that. But we want to do it when it's in the left swing, not the right swing. So there. And if you didn't see that because I wasn't zoomed in enough, let's try it again. You want it to like be right about here as it's coming up, right? But if yours isn't doing that, this is where you loosen that other screw. So once you have it in this position, you go back over here. Zoom out. Okay, there we go. And you loosen the second screw. And now, when I turn this, let's see if I can go wide angle here. When I turn this, the needle moves, but the feed dogs and the bobbin case don't. So that's why we don't want to move this too much. We just want it to be right about there, just little movements. And while we're doing those little movements, we can take a hold of this and scooch it to where it's supposed to be. And it's usually not too far off. So if I needed to, I could scooch it this way or this way. Do it a lot and it'll be really messed up. But that's about right, because when I do a little bit down, there's the bottom, there's the top. Oh, see, that's not good because it's mashing it. So then you go a little bit more. And then now it's clearing it too soon, but it's still smashing it. Okay. So then This is probably going the wrong way. Let's go. Now it's doing it too soon, see? Okay, so you want it to be kind of above here when it's in this position. So, right about there. So you won't know if it's right until you tighten it up again. So, I'm going to tighten just the easiest one to reach. Righty-tighty. So now I can test it without tightening the other one. Let's watch. Okay, I'm gonna take a closer look. It's clearing nicely. That's the right spot for it to go down and up. And now we're going to check our feed dogs to make sure that they aren't out of sync. Up, down, up, down. Right. Once you feel like it's doing that, you should probably put this in your bobbin case. Oh, I guess you want to do that first. Bobbin case, then this, then your bobbin, thread your needle, and see if it's going to catch, and just turn it by hand. And if so, then it's safe to tighten both of those up and put it all back together. So let me show you what it looks like when we test it. This angle is kind of weird, so there we go. Tight. You don't want this to slip every time you like get a tangle or skip stitch, or not skip stitch, but nest and stuff in your bobbin. Now, a lot of people have problems with their bobbin tension after taking this part out because they haven't put it back in correctly. So this notch down here comes in contact with this part of the metal, and this arrow has to point to the little dot. So let's get that settled down inside. And you'll know when it's in right when it has a little wiggle room and it's snapped down flat all the way around, and it has just a little spot where it comes in contact with that, and the little arrow, that arrow points right there. It's all in the right place, like so. Now you can put your needle plate on. Move that needle. I'm going to turn it with my finger a few times, then get this part. And it doesn't have to be super tight, just till it stops. Come on. All right, where did I put my thread and my presser foot? Now let's say, just for funsies, that you messed with the screw that is a no-no right here, which I did my first time, and it kind of made a lot of headaches for me. So this screw right here, it adjusts the position of the presser foot forward and back, and it turns this tiny little screw right here. And so if that gets out of place, then sometimes the hole in the foot doesn't match with the hole in the needle plate. So if you've done that, you're going to have to reverse what you did, probably do righty-tighty, because you were trying to take off the back and thought that was one of the screws you needed to loosen. But no, that's not a good idea. Don't do it. But when that's in proper alignment, let's see if I can zoom in. You'll see that they line up nicely like this. Now what happens if your needle wants to hit your foot or the needle plate? Well, the adjustment for that is right here. One direction makes it go forward and the other direction makes it go back. So you want it to be the number 11 when you adjust that. Okay, so that makes the needle in the far left position, and then turning this will adjust your needle forward and back until it fits inside the hole, like that. You'll appreciate that if that's happening to you. I don't think most people will have to tinker with the tension here, so just don't mess with it. There's just some things that can be left alone because they're not the things that get messed up when your machine is having timing mistakes. Okay, so I'm kind of MacGyvering it a little bit. I'm going to use this bobbin holder up here for a thread guide because it's all kind of taken apart right now. And then I'm going to pull it through here. Oops, I skipped a spot. Down under here. Got to pull it, floss it into spot, up through there, under there. And through the hole. Bobbin. There's the bobbin. So hold your bobbin with the thread coming down the left side so it looks like the letter P. Place it inside. Make sure it's sitting down in there. And then look for the teensy tiny, this little thing right here. That's where the thread has to catch for the tension to be right. I'm trying to see and move my fingers there at the same time. So it helps if you can pull it this way a little bit and then catch it under there and then pull it this way. And then you'll know that your bobbin is threaded right. Okay, so this is set to a straight stitch number 11. And we're just going to sew this way by turning this by hand. And let's see if we're making stitches. Another way you can tell that your thread is in the right place is when you see this part lift as the take-up lever goes, because it's running through the right part of the disc. So let's look at our stitches and see how we're doing. Ta-da! Beautiful stitches on the front and the back, and no funny sounds or broken threads or anything. So it's done. Just put it back together the way it started. You gotta have 3 screws that look like this that go back in the back, and then you put the front back on and you're done. This is the way the reverse lever goes back on, with the bottom part sticking down like this, and it lines up like so, and then slides back on. So that goes on before you put on the cover. When putting the back on, this presser foot lifter has to be in the down position. It was giving me some trouble, so just a quick reminder about that. You're going to return the feet screws and all the screws on the back after you get the 3 screws that are on the inside, which is 1, the one back there 2, and the one up here 3. Okay. I can't feed it straight when I'm holding the phone. All right, so even though I can't sew straight, I did a nice stitch. Okay, I'm going to select the wide zigzag. Okay. Beautiful. Tension's good. No skip stitches. It's lovely. I'm happy to help you learn how to do things. Thanks for watching. Okay, here's the Toby cam. Cute bunny. Honey. Okay, do you want to play a game? Let's find where's the treat. Where's the treat? Can you find it? Dude, that wasn't fair. That was like a record or something. It's like, not even worried about looking for it. Just found it. What a cutie bug. There's a cute mouth too.